4, 3.
Hey guys, Brave here again. Today we got a plus 16 Priory of the Sacred Flame. We did this with very few seconds to spare.
4,
Though it wasn't a clean run, we had some pretty sloppy deaths.
1.
Now on this first pull, it's pretty standard. You grab the footman, you take the right knight, you ignore the pack at the top of the middle, and then you grab the one to the right of the middle, you grab Soliman, and you bring him into this corner. Hit the lust. It's really important to line your CCs up accordingly and not overlap everything. If you guys overlap like 4 stuns on one set of defends, this pull's going to take forever and it's a nightmare. But if you can coordinate with your team and call out your stuns, CCs, knockups, blinds, etc., anything to stop these footmen from casting to defend, it's an easy pull. A key note is to watch the overlap between the thunderclap from Soliman and the shout from the knight. Whenever those are coming out, I try and you really kind of want to have a CC going out, that way you don't actually get shot by the snipers at the same time. Otherwise, that's about all there is for this pull. And of course, don't step on the traps. Any stun overlap. I have next stun. Here, the knights are the only thing left, so I know this pull's not that dangerous. I go ahead and pull some more. And the keys this season, you really just have to chain pull everything. You want to just pull as much as humanly possible all the time. And then on boss fights where you can, you want to try and look to pull stuff on the bosses. It's just much more efficient. Once we got Soliman down, I decide I'm going to grab some more trash. I normally play these 2 packs with the other mini boss as well. The other mini boss is going to be coming down the stairs any second now, so that's what I'm looking for right here. I'll go ahead and I taunt her. Make sure she's hitting you. She'll walk up and one-shot a DPS or your healer if you're not careful. And then I go ahead and grab the other trash. I still play the left route. I still think it's easier for most groups to just go left. It's a little slower, but it should be fine. It makes the boss a lot easier. Knock up when you can. Here I'm waiting for the last caster to die, and then I really want to drag this up to the stairs to the next pack that I'm going to pull. You really want to just try and chain pull everything. You never want to just single target DPS something. It's really inefficient. So you always want to be looking to chain, but you want to do it in a reasonable manner. So I always try and do the best I can to make sure the pulls are safe, yet I'm pulling more than just one thing at a time. The patrol's coming in here, so it's really important if you're a ranged DPS or if you're any DPS in general here, not stepping on the traps is number 1, a little scary. Number 2, the lynxes are going to bite, and you want to try and be on top of melee and make sure you have defensives ready if you get bit. 2 bites and higher keys is pretty much death. So you want to be really wary of that as well. Here, I'm looking to pull this little pack of casters into the patrol. As long as you don't like stay there, you can drag them to the middle a little bit, and then the pack of casters, you can kind of get them grouped up pretty good. Again, this is a night pack, so you want to be careful if you're the one that is targeted by Impale. Always use defensive and iron keys. And then there's a footman that you have to watch out for. You want to make sure you're interrupting that. And then on top of that, you got to make sure you're kicking. You really want to make sure these casts don't go off here. They double targeted our DK, and he died, which was my fault. My Stormbolt was like half a second too late. So now we're stuck with a defend. We stopped it finally, and then we're just cleaving them down. Yeah, it was the two casters. I should have said something. I thought I had Stormbolt, but it flew through the area a second too late. Defend, yeah. So on my route here, I am looking to pull these footmen with two snipers. So I got the footmen, I got the snipers. I try and make sure I have aggro, and then I'm making sure I just have aggro here. You really got to pay attention to your feet here. You'll see here in a second that my DK and my DH both die on this pull, which is pretty bad. It's pretty bad if you die on this pull, because there is almost no damage really going out. See, the DH got the trap once, and then he's dead. So, and then the DK died. Off the traps. Honestly, if you have bad deaths on this pull, your likeliness to time this key goes down tremendously. This mini boss ends up taking us like 2 minutes or more, when it should be like 1 minute at most for all of this. No, hold up, Tuna. Just click my frame. Yep, they're always under us. There's nowhere to put them besides under your feet, so you need to move out of them. And try and save freedom for it. Whatever it is. Yeah. You have like the freedom thing, just eat them all.
You won't peel off anymore. You must defeat Dailcry now.
So here we got the mage, Tanner. And I'm just waiting for him to run into us. If you can, just have your ranged DPS go ahead and get this interrupt. That's much better. He'll just run right to you as long as you taunt. And then I'm pulling this 3-pack of casters. This pull can be a little bit scary, but the main thing here is to make sure there's no overlapping. As long as these kicks don't target like 3 of them at one player, then that's fine. You can see here on my plater, I'm really trying to make sure that no one's being targeted multiple times. And if they do, I try and tell them to use a defensive, or we have stops. You have like the DK blind, we have Pally blind, DK can grip, Demoner can imprison, Shaman can knock him up. Plus, everyone has a stun. DK has I guess he doesn't really have a stun. He has the big dragon, which is like a cooldown, but Pally has stun, Demon has stun, Shaman has 2 stuns, I have 2 stuns. So you want to make sure these never target the same person twice. And then Tanner, obviously, his does more, so you want to interrupt that. And then you just watch your feet. Easy peasy. Here on this boss, we have all of our CDs up, so I just call for Lust because it's coming up right on cooldown. Just send the Lust on this boss. Take it easier in the next room. Lusting here is actually pretty good because this boss is a pain in the ass. He just has a lot of health, it feels like, and he does a lot of damage to me. I don't know, as a warrior I have to be really careful. Really plan my defenses well, otherwise I will just perish. The bleed hits too hard, and you need dispelled really quickly. It's also really important that you guys move as a group here. You see my Demon Hunter did not follow the tank, and it made it super awkward to get across over here for the other dudes. Not good. You always want to be following your tank, pretty much in this entire dungeon, really. It really is just follow your tank around type of dungeon. Especially on this next pole, because the tank's going to be kiting around backwards. You don't want to get in between like the consecrations and the tank, so you just stay with your tank, and you move where he moves. You'll have pretty good success in this place. You start the jumping at like 0.2 or something on his cast time. It actually works pretty consistently. It is. I watched them do it in the 18, it's a thing. It's a timing thing. Here we go on the next pull. We let the healer drink, make sure I'm alive. And then, since we don't have Lust, we can't do a crazy big pull. Though, honestly, we might have been able to pull it off. Just the healing and my living is probably the biggest concern here. Is me living. I'm not sure if I would have lived. Without Lust, it's a ton of damage for me to be mitigating, and it's pretty scary at times. I didn't have cheat deaths, I didn't have much up, so I really had to be really watching myself. Finish school. And then once we get some of them killed, we're going to the next pack. You always want to finish the paladins off. That way there's less divine tolls. You always want to main target a paladin as your 3 DPS, kill him as fast as possible, cleave down, kick the casters, but you want to kill a paladin in each pack. You want to finish him off, so it's one less divine toll for the healer to heal. Or I said sacred toll, but it's the same thing. Really want to make sure that that guy's dying. Make sure you do not miss your interrupts here. So what happens if this priest here casts a smite? Boom, it hits someone for like 6 or 7 million, and then like within a second, a paladin's gonna be cast in divine toll, and that player's dead unless they have defenses or the healer just saves their life miraculously. You want to always pull two kicks normally. You never want to do more than 2 kicks because, like I said, if one of them goes off, someone's dying, and if it's a healer, you're losing the key. And so I always just make sure you're calling your kicks. You have people assigned to the kicks. Easy peasy.
Gio's next. Gio's next. Gio's star. I got it. Knock up. I got blind. Just knock up. I can take circle. I doubled it. Geo, the star. Human click circle. I can stun. I stun. Stun again. We survived it this time. We did. This was the very same pull. There is no difference in our pulls. It's all the same. Nothing was different. Well, yeah, we didn't have lust though. The left back has 1 kick. It's all the same. Here we go, I'm the second boss. I always try and pull him to this outer corner here. And then make sure your whole team is stacked up for the hammers. You can see we all stacked up pretty good. Got hammers in the same locations, and then you slowly drag them back to the other side. I'm a little close here, but as long as you're putting the hammers where you should be, you really don't need to move the boss that much, and it's really important that you get really good DPS uptime on this guy. It can be really easy to not have good DPS uptime, and that will end up slowing this boss fight down tremendously. And in these hierarchies, your boss fights have to be quick. Everything is way more HP, so you really can't, you just can't lose the uptime. Move up a bit. Another keynote is to always like stay stacked, not on top of the thing. And make sure you bait the
the shields out. As a warrior, you can actually reflect this. Pro tip, you can reflect it. Another pro tip is if you have an immunity, hunter turtle doesn't work, but like AMS actually works. So what we have our DK do is he AMSs and uses his movement speed ability, which I forget right now, but you can AMS and you can use your movement speed ability and just tippy tap in and out of the circle. As a healer, this is going to be a lot of AoE damage, so you want to make sure you're ready to top people up, but it has to be quick. You'll see here, I always take one because I know his AMS isn't big enough to eat them all. He can do 3 where it just eats the AMS shield, he doesn't get a dot, and then the last one gives him a dot, so I always take the first one. Do we want to list now or save for last? Oh, I just saved. Just the auto bot. Flex it something on himself. On the next pull, there's nothing too fancy, but again, there's 2 casters, there's 2 paladins, so if these casts hit someone, right, and then the divine toll follows, that person is probably gonna die. So you gotta be really careful, really watch the interrupts here. Really want to make sure that you're not losing people right here, because it actually is a pretty long walk back now. It's right before the second boss. Careful with help. Once I see the paladins probably aren't going to cast anything serious, it's really important that you pull them everything back. You want to make sure the paladins are going to die before your DPS get up here. It's really important that you want to time this pretty much just the way I did here. Everything just got here, and then the rest of my group just got here. It saves a bunch of time. My DPS aren't struggling to like hide around a wall, waste a bunch of time. There's no delay here. That's what you want to look for. And on these mages here, they do a fire volley, and if this goes off and then the divine toll goes off, you guessed it, you die. So all this stuff, you just die. And then whoever these light spawns target with their little ray, if they can't like feign death or AMS cheese it, they have to be using a defensive, and the healer really has to watch out for them. It is super scary. Can you kill the mini boss with that lust? Toll coconuts. Oh, I'm trolling. Yeah, I did it from this. Yeah. I don't know. So our group here decides that we're going to use Lust on this double and not the mini boss. And so as a warrior, you can reflect the very beginning of this. If I would have waited a second, the patrol would have been a little bit more clean, but it's a game of seconds here, and you want to make sure that none of these volleys really go off, and you want to watch fireballs at the player that's being targeted by the light spawns. There's 2 light spawns, and so if they ever overlap, it's basically immunity or die. Really bad stuff if they overlap targets, but it is what it is. Their coder did not supposed to do that, but sometimes they do anyway. And then it's not
They're
good.
gonna die sometime soon, so careful. That's what it's doing. Can you grip them out? Just one left. Good mana.
Honestly, I think lusting mini boss is probably more efficient. You can lust and then chain. Here we have no lust and like hardly any cooldown, so this first part really drags on. You want to make sure these priest kicks are being interrupted because it's just a ton of damage on top of the pulsing damage. And so as tank here, I kind of probably focused on kicks too much, and I didn't defensive properly, which really hurts me here. I get way behind at some point. As tank, your main priority is to like really be lining your defenses up. Here I didn't do it. I cheated death and walled, which was not good for me. I ended up having pretty much nothing, and I had to pretty much beg my teammates to save me because it hits super hard.
I'm in trouble.
I didn't have potion up. I've used everything at this point. We just got Spirit Link up, so they Spirit Linked me. I still at this point think I'm probably not having a good time. I'm asking for the Paladin to watch me and really just trying to finish this boss off before I die. It just hits me so hard. I rallied and I'm just sitting here letting myself get healed up. So obviously you just double this pack like I just did. So I think we're kind of okay on timer as long as we have no deaths on this boss. So I didn't chain this because if you're not really careful and you make sure you line up your CCs and don't overlap your CCs for like when these guys die off, they'll blow up for quite a lot of damage, and the boss pulses a lot of damage AoE this the entire fight. And so if that ever like lines up poorly here, it's a pretty good chance that you all die, and that means you don't time the key. So I took the slightly safer route. I probably could have, but I let my healer also catch a little bit of mana, so that was pretty good for him. And then as a warrior, if you have a warrior in your group, he's a warrior tank, let him reflect. The reflect does so much damage. It's doing like 20 to 30 million a reflect, depending on key level. Like, you gotta let him reflect. And then after, you can do some interrupts. But it's so important that the reflect happens.
Reflect. Kick. Repeat.
4, 3,
And away soon.
2, 1.
Meat kick.
The secret code is
4,
And away.
2,
Look
1.
around.
wire back.
Field soon.
4, 3,
And away.
2, 1.
So here the healer is gonna stay back to make sure the root totem is gonna root all the dudes down there so we don't have to worry about getting meleeed. Prime boss uptime. That means he's also behind because this thing pulses. So I ended up hitting a rally. Good time for a little bit of defensive, maybe some health pot usage. And then we get the interrupt out. Again, we're just doing the same thing as P1. Whenever the blinding light comes out, you really want to maybe use a defensive if you have that option, because it is a lot of damage. Plus the pulse. Okay.
Four,
Turn away.
3,
Defensive.
2, 1.
Repeat. Flick. And kick.
Four, 3,
Defensive.
1.
Defeat here. Deflect. Watch your feet here.
4,
Turn away.
3, 2,
Turn away.
1.
No. Here you can see we lost our paladin just because of what I was saying. It's just a lot of damage plus big burst and then the pulsing for quite a lot. And he just didn't have anything left, so
We got him.
really got to be careful. Ended up getting the key with like 10 seconds left. Not even close. Plus 16 priory is a pretty tough key. But we got her done. Even with some bad deaths. We had some pretty bad deaths in the first half, but just goes to show you anything's possible. Now, if you had found anything in this video useful or entertaining, you know, just give me a like, give me a follow,
I got a
maybe
17
comment.
streets.
Don't forget, boys, like and subscribe. Click that bell for more notifications. I'll be posting more guides. Till next time, I'll see you later. Peace.